you kind of absorb the information they get from the lineup, and you just watch it for a while before the heat, and you kind of make a collective game plan. And I think at the top level of the coaching, you deal with guys like Tommy Witz and Snake and Glenn Hall, and they have a curriculum. And this is also a replay that we're going to see from Nadia, who, of course, her backhand is searing. It's GOAT certified off of Snapper on the Gold Coast. She's in form this year, so
she has been putting together such great performances, and she's going to have to watch now as this wave reels off down the line. Great opening series of turns. Second turn, she's kind of reactionary, trying to get around this open section. Wave gets a little bumpy, lays down a little bit. Appropriate carve back into the white water, though. She's going to wait for it to form up. We're kind of just putting together some connecting maneuvers. She gets to this meaningful inside section, punches the lip, comes around it again, nicely placed there. So not pushing it too hard, but pushing it just the right amount to lay down a base layer score. She's going to feel good about that wave, I would say. I don't think it's going to go in the excellent range, but it's a perfect placeholder to get your heat started.
So here's what's kind of interesting in these first couple heats this morning is where she's at. She's coming up against a Goliath underdog in Nadia. But Luana staying on the board, she looked good, Chris. Like you said, she looked frisky and just loose and just kind of, in some regards, warming up through this first part of the wave, settles in, and she got some nice turns on the inside.
Yeah, and these two surfers have been battling for a long time through the Pro Junior rankings and, you know, the Key West on the Challenger Series, so they're definitely very familiar with each other. But what might be unfamiliar for Nadia is how improved Luana has been throughout 2020, all the way through, and put together a solid back half of the season. She's got to get through Nadia before she goes anywhere, and Nadia is a powerhouse. That was almost a nicely executed turn.
You know, we were listening to her talk about her perspective coming on tour and having that self-confidence to believe that she was in the right place to take down these big names. She was giving respect to Sawyer. She had to give respect to Steph to step over the top of both of them. Not only is she a rookie here, she's coming from a place in the world where it's not been represented on the World Tour, so she is trailblazing. And for her, she's got to knock that door down. We saw her exclaim after her 8-point ride, and you get the feeling, right? She's creating that energy from within her.
Luana Silva now demanding the attention from the judges, starting off with a 6-6-7. See what she can follow through with here. Waiting for it, unleashes, quick turn, comes around the section again, nicely placed carve. I love where she's positioning herself on this wave. You see she's hugging the white water, staying right in the power pocket. Now she extends into that oncoming section, throws herself headlong into the closeout, and rides out clean. That was a nicely surfed wave for Luana Silva. Great style, pure flow all the way down the line, adding some power, some flashes of speed. The judges are going to like that one. So to me, I feel like that is equal to, if not better than, that 6-6-7.
This was a great wave, Chris. I mean, the tempo that she kept through this middle part of the wave and all of these carves was really nice. She was coming off the bottom with a lively whip. Here it starts. You get the first one, comes straight again, and she's not overthinking anything. That looked really good. Into this next one. Yeah, so a series of good maneuvers. Like you said, it's going to be probably close to, if not a little bit more than her first one.
Yeah, and then in looking at the replay, there was a speed difference between this wave and her opening wave. But I just feel like the aggression that she put into these first couple of turns may be the difference. And just that the positioning, that was pinpoint precision on those two turns right there. And it set her up to get right back in the pocket. You got to love this surfing.
Yeah, you can see where she's looking in these carves is really interesting. She sets the rail looking at the rail and then rips it back to the pocket. I want to do that kind of stuff. As we see a replay of Nadia's... Okay, so... we didn't see that wave in live action.
10 years old or something in Jersey's getting ready to go out and surf. So this is going to be a really fun day of surfing. And the wave's just absolutely rippable. Even with this little bump coming up the face, sometimes that gives you a little bit of something extra to turn off. I know when the wind whips up a little bit, would not want to surf a heat against her.
Oh my gosh, and no way. Especially when she's feeling super confident after a Raglan win and just she's in the glow. She's back. You know what I mean? That would be so affirming for her. So she's going to step into an event that she already loves, and it's cranking, so I'm sure she's feeling good.
Luana Silva, late drop, pulls out of that one. I think she saw Nadia on the inside, so she gets to go. Nadia now unleashing on her backhand. That was a two-turn combo right there that the judges are going to be feeling in their bones. Comes around again. A little bit of flow taken away through that chop. Can she get the good, clean finish? Yes, nicely done. And just have a little bit of fun. It's like always pumping around here.
Okay, Chris, here we go. Here's the replay for Nadia's last right, which was impressive. This second turn here, she made the most of that. Came down with the lip where you almost thought she would have got held up into the back part of this wave, but she didn't. She did a great job to keep the flow. And this is a fun last turn. You don't normally see the tail come up and over the foam ball because it's such a...
Her sister's in there cheering her on. So Luana, those are just little jabs, right? Just little testers, like, maybe I have a minute here. I can take a look at this one. She's going to maintain priority. She gets back into the lineup. Looks like a set rolling through here. Error here. So you see Nadia was in second priority until this wave came through. Streaking down the line, I mean, I feel like that wave probably looked really good, right?
And those are super racy, and they can be very hard. And I think that was Luana's last wave.
Well, we'll see if this is a wise choice. Quick snap to start. This wave a little bit slow. Now it starts to speed off down the line a little bit. Third turn for Nadia. And it goes awry. She goes down to that boiling water you see in front. And that was her 8th wave ridden. You know, waves 1 through 6, pretty much throwaway. So surfed it well. But I feel like at this level, you got to complete these waves.
But for me with Nadia, she's got great cadence on this wave. She swings right into the right spot in the pocket.
Very well coached, well prepared. She's done her homework, and we'll see if this decision to let Nadia goes. Come back to bite her in the end. Quick snap there. I like that extension of the back leg. Just adding that extra flair, throwing tons of spray.
Created space from Luana, so she's now further inside, so she'll give it a go. But Chris, that is a dynamic turn. She turns from the midpoint of the wave and gets over the lip, comes out with a nice arcing carve, and that one was a little bit less speed within it, and she just said, we start to see him, and she's looking back at Nadia while she paddles in. She would only ride this wave if Nadia was going to go.
Well, we'll see if she can make it count. First turn was great. Comes around a section. The wave just kind of sped off down the line while flattening out, while bowling, and it got pretty weird on the inside. I did like that first turn. It probably looked like a pretty solid wave from where she took off, but now that leaves Nadia out the back. And here we go. Put your judge's hat on, people. First turn, nicely done. Cranks it around the section, gets up into the lip, hangs on, adds the third, sliding the tail. And then the wave gets weird, and she goes down at the end. Okay, so 3 turns.
And she takes off here. She does great. This first turn is very, very valid. It's a great starting point for this conversation. Now here, she gets a little hooked up, and that turn to me is where she came off a little off kilter. Did great, but got held up on that third. So the rhythm and flow throughout those 3 turns.
So just remember, the 6.20, was that better than her 6.20 that she got just a few minutes back? In my opinion, in my estimation, you know, it's going to be a decent score, but I just didn't feel the excitement that I felt on that 6.20.
It felt a little discombobulated.
I saw the flow light flashing red just that second turn. She got hung up, and that was, I would think, the kind of case where you just go, in case of emergency,